Before we get started on this week's show, I'd like to bring your attention to the Grand Canal Hotel. Not only are they a great friend of the sport, but they also offer a fantastic package for all Greyhound enthusiasts. And that you get a Night of the Dogs package, admission to pre-show meal, Shelbourne Park itself, €5 betting voucher, €5 drinks voucher, a night's accommodation and a full Irish the next morning, all for just €85 per person. Visit them on Facebook, just type in the Grand Canal Hotel and their page will come up. Super, smashing, great. That's it, ladies and gents. It's the Irish Greyhound Racing Weekly Preview Show with me, Mick Livesey, and of course Daniel Monk. We are in for a busy time of the year right now in Ireland with some great sweepstakes in action at the moment and lots for us to cover yet again this week's preview. We have 3 great events to cover this week with the Arrows Cross Bookmakers Puppy Derby, the Pat Hennity Sales Irish Laurels and the Droopy Stud Munster Oaks, as well as this week's 6-pack and of course Dan and Mick's special upcoming events board. Now we will get underway with our first stop this weekend, which is the Arrows Cross Track Bookmakers Puppy Derby, which continues on Friday night and is down to the quarter-final stage. Lolo's Joy is heading the betting this year and gets underway in the opening heat on Friday night. After making all in 28.67 last week, he faces a very tricky heat full of 5 heat winners, which is almost unheard of in racing. In an heat which sees qualification the main objective, the likes of Westmead Maldini, Kerrydale Law, Bling Bling Dano and Me Rambo all form strong chances in this heat of death. Lolo's looks a class act in the making, but will need to avoid any trouble in this heat. Heat 2 is missing any heat winners, and the likely favourite in this heat will be the Paul Hennessy trained Air Force Oak, who will look to get back to winning ways in this heat, but will see opposition from the likes of Fast Fit Tiger, who is well drawn in Trap 2, and Springwood Hope in Trap 1. Heat 3 sees last week's heat winner, Melody's Royal, drawn in the 6 box in what can be described as an open heat. Kilduff Merc may provide some danger if breaking well from Trap 2, while Asiola will be one to watch in this heat also. Heat 4 rounds off the quarter-finals and sees a strong running Dream Walker in action. This lad looks to be just getting used to Arrows Cross and looks a leading player in this final heat. Danger will come from heat winners from last week, Mountjoy Rock and Salem Return. Mountjoy looked good in his 28.71 win and will require holding if turning in the lead. Good luck to all the runners at Arrows Cross for the Puppy Derby in the quarter-final stage, and it's really hotting up this competition. We look forward to picking up again next week. With so many ladies competitions around the country at this time of year, it's great to see the top class bitches in action, and that is what Waterford are serving up to their patrons this weekend. It's the final of the Droopy Stud Munster Oaks. We're down to the final 6 and it's exciting stuff. We would also like to mention the Waterford Track Supporters Club, who have put up 4 supporting finals on the night and will no doubt have much more planned for the night and the months ahead at the sunny southwest venue. The Munster Oaks has seen some really top-class ladies take home the prize over the years, and this year is no exception, which sees some really top-class ladies shooting it out for the €5,000 winner's purse. Back to Shannon for Father Dan Green and trainer Niall Dunn looks to be the leading hope, but he's facing a terrible Trap 5 draw, which may just open the door up for the others. Courtier's Dazzle had already reached the final of the Irish Oaks this year and looks exceptionally drawn in Trap 1. In the final, only having been touched off by a head last week with Ballymac Linda a further 3/4 of a length back. Clearview Kelly landed the other semi-final and will need to be on her toes early on. Courtier's Dazzle gets the nod from us in this, but Back to Shannon will take massive respect despite her Trap 5 draw, but we're going for Courtiers to dazzle them in the Munster Oaks. We would just like to mention the Fur Warrior Sprint in Mullingar. It's down to the semi-final stage and the final will be previewed here next week, so come and join us next week, all the Mullingar fans out there. We can't cover everything, it's a time issue. It's a great race, the Fur Warrior Sprint, and we will be bang on it for the final, I can assure you of that. Okay, it's time to move down to court for the second round of this year's Irish Laurels. And after a great first round which saw some super performances and some big shocks with exits to some of the big names, we move on to the second round in Curraheen Park. Heat 1 sees surprise heat winner from last week, Cool Model, back in action in Track 1 and looks to be a leading player again this week. Main opposition may come from Shallow Sublime, who has a 28.60 Shelburne Park run and will be a danger if getting away well here, while Paid Paddy could also get into the mix. Heat 2 sees the defending champion in action, 7 Heads Bay. He tasted defeat last week, but should be a danger if bouncing back to his best, while March Urgent and Dalcash Cardoza could also go close here. Heat 3 sees the back in form Tullamore Act given a shocking draw, where we will have to wear the striped jacket. Although he looked back to his near best last week, he will have to overcome this tough draw, and we'll see competition from Bournebrook again and Belvedere Champ. Heat 4, this is a tight affair on offer, with Heat winners Beaming Dilemma and Tranquil Time going head to head, but we'll face tough draws on the outside, which should suit Tyra Bucko in Track 1, and you can't rule out Barefoot Admiral. Heat 5 sees American heavyweight Cara Myth in action following his winning return in the opening round on what looked a slower than usual track at Cork on Friday night. He will find his main opposition from St. Louis Spirit, who will look to put his bad run from last week behind him, while Guitar Moment, who possesses great early, and Tubatelli Doob will also be leading dangers in this field. Heat 6, and a real promising race on the card, with many people Laurel's champion in Track 1 in the form of Pablo Supreme, who was a winning member of last week's six-pack, but will need to be on his toes as he faces opposition from the massively fast Johnny White Sox, who produced a massive run and lit up the forum message boards when landing his opening round heat. This looks a great race between these two, with the likes of Yes Boss and Sheepwalk Mac in the mix. This event could be a real race to watch on Saturday night. Could it be Pablo Supreme or Johnny White Sox could go on to lift this year's Irish laurels? We'll know more after Heat 6 at the weekend. Heat 7 is where Tyra Big Mike makes his reappearance on Saturday night after picking up his heat win in 29.25. This fella looks open to massive improvement. Now it should be said that Tyra Big Mike was balked in his last outing, and that did him no favours in his winning time, so expect this fella to make a big run on Saturday night. He faces a tough heat with the likes of Colourful Champ and Broadstan Land in the mix, as well as Kilmalady Torres, who has massive say in this heat. Heat 8 is the final heat in this year's second round and sees the 5-2 Laurel's favourite Tyra Ender back in action. Ender looked in flying form when winning last week and will take all the beating after drawing the one box on Saturday night. His main danger may come from the X Factor and Fairpoint Dave, who will look to be leading dangers in this heat. Tyra Ender is a classy animal. Look forward to seeing him in action. That wraps up this week's preview, but of course stay with us because we still have Dan and Mick's special upcoming events board and of course the infamous six-pack. Dan and Mick's special events board. In 1, it's the Harold's Cross Bookmakers Puppy Derby, which hits the quarter-final stage this weekend. In 2, it's the Pat Hennity Sales Irish Laurels in Curraheen Park. In 3, it's the Trouser Press. Oh no, it's not. It's the Agri Store Fur Warrior in Mullingar, which is at the semi-final stage. In 4, it's the final of the Droopage Stud Munster Oaks in Waterford. In 5, it's the upcoming Newbridge Oaks. In 6, it's a lovely set of his and her pens. Oh no, it's not. It's Thurler's Track Bookmakers Champion Bitch. In 7, it's the Vet Search Grand National in Harold's Cross. In 8, it's the Munster Puppy Cup in Clonmel. And this week's Dan and Mick's special event, it's the 2010 Irish St Ledger at Limerick, which will of course be on many trainers' agendas this year. So that's it for this week's preview, but oh no, hang on a minute, we almost forgot. It's time for me and Dan to peel off the tops for our female fans and show this week's six-pack. It has been very much a case of, have a look what you could have won, with the six-pack over the last few weeks, with a winning strike rate of over 60% to date. So let's get down to this week's selections. Tyra Hender to win his heat on Saturday night, that's the nap. Lolo's Joe to win his heat of the Puppy Derby, that's the next best. Pablo Supreme to win his heat. Johnny White Sox to win his heat or run second to Pablo Supreme, that's Mick's Sparkling Ring Pull. Come on Johnny White Sox, I'll be cheering him on for you, Caroline. Mountjoy Rock, each way in his Puppy Derby heat. Tyra Big Mike, each way in the Laurels. Okay folks, that brings this week's preview to a close, and both myself and Dan hope you have enjoyed the preview and wish all the best for the weekend ahead. We like to wish all the best for all greyhounds taking part in action this weekend across Ireland. Thanks for listening and tune in next week.